5 years after saving New York City from Gozer's wrath, the Ghostbusters are, well, not exactly heroes anymore. After the whole Stay Puft Marshmallow Man incident, things haven't been easy for Peter, Ray, Egon, and Winston. Business is slow, the public seems over ghost, and they're drowning in debt. Ray Stantz and Winston Zeddemore are driven to act as party clowns, scientists for upper-class children's birthday parties, call them liars and losers. Dana goes for help to Egon Spengler, who works back at the university. He agrees to help, enlisting Ray, but promising Dana they won't tell Peter Venkman since they broke up in quite bad terms a few years ago. Venkman is now the host of a TV show, World of the Psychic, derided and despised by every respected psychic. Backstage, as Venkman tries to greet the mayor of New York, he is rebuked by Jack, an arrogant peck-like bureaucrat who tells him that the mayor, running for governor, won't be associated with frauds. At the Manhattan Museum of Art, Dana works at the restoration of ancient paintings, a job she took only for a while, intending to go back to orchestra next year. Her boss, Janos Poha, harbors an evident crush on her. At Ray's occult bookstore, Egon and Ray read about cases of psychokinesis. Venkman, visiting, asks them the reason of such studies. When they try to avoid the subject, he starts tugging at Ray's ears until he confesses they're helping his ex, then accompanies them to her place. While Ray and Egon examine baby Oscar, Peter and Dana talks about the baby's father, a musician who left them to play in London. Venkman bonds and plays with the baby, seemingly regretting he wasn't his dad. Establishing that there's no paranormal activity at Dana's, nor around the baby, the Ghostbusters inspect the First Avenue crossroads. There, the readings are over the top, indicating something do happen underneath the street. That very night, dressed as road workers, the trio drill a hole in the roadway, uncovering a deep air shaft in which Ray is sent to investigate. He finds an abandoned, antique subway station where gallons and gallons of grayish-pink slime flow like a river. While on the surface, Egon and Venkman are controlled by an unconvinced traffic cop and a Con Ed supervisor. Ray samples some slime, provoking a surge of activity within the slime, which creates arm-like appendages trying to grab Ray's legs. Screaming for help, he's hoisted back a bit too fast. In his panic, he knocks over a pipe which falls and severs a main electric line, occasioning a total blackout on Manhattan. Earlier that night, while working late and alone on Vigo's painting, Janos is suddenly shocked by lightning bolts coming for Vigo's eyes. Then he witnesses the painting transforming into the tyrant's giant, floating undead talking head, who commands him to bring him a child to possess. Hesitating, Janos is brainwashed with more lightning, becoming a faithful minion for Vigo, then going during the blackout for an impromptu visit at Dana's, with some ghostly new powers such as headlights' eyes. A few days later, the Ghostbusters appear in court, presided by hanging Judge Wexler, where their unconvincing lawyer, Louis Tully, former lovelorn neighbor of Dana, have to contend with an efficient district attorney herself in friendly terms with Hardemeyer. After sentencing Peter, Ray, and Egon to 18 months of jail, his hate-fueled speech against con men and charlatans causes the slime to explode, liberating 2 ghosts. The Scolry brothers' murderers sentenced to die on the electric chair by Wexler, who start to destroy the courtroom and scare the people away. Terrified, Judge Wexler finally decides to recant his decision and acquit the Ghostbusters, who track and capture the Scolrys, finally and legally going back to business. The Mattermood slime is emotionally charged. Insults and sarcasm make it boil until energetic enough to blow up, freeing ghosts. A treatment of happy thoughts and feel good turn it into a positive plasma, which they use to make a toaster dance. The following night, as she is about to give Oscar a bath, slime flow from the faucet, turning the bathtub into a monster which tries to grab the baby. Frantic, she leaves home and runs at Venkman's for shelter. Checking on their computer, Egon and Ray learn disturbing facts about Vigo, a crazy bloodthirsty wizard and warlord who is massacred at 105 by his long-suffering subjects but promised to resurrect, and both conclude that the presence of the painting and the increasing number of ghosts in New York are evidently related. Meanwhile, at the headquarters, Ray and Egon examine the pictures Venkman took. They discover that the river of slime glimpsed by Ray appears at the bottom of some images before the pictures suddenly catch fire, almost burning the duo alive, if not for Winston's intervention. That evening, Winston, Egon, and Ray go to abandoned subway tracks, looking for an access to the Slime River. While trying to measure the depth of the river, Winston is pulled over into the flowing goo, caught away by the current, so his friends have to dive to save him. Emerging from the sewers, covered with untreated mood slime, which compels them to fight against each other for a while, they finally discover the place where the current brought them, the forecourt of the Manhattan Museum of Art. The trio run to the restaurant where Dana and Peter have dinner to warn them, but they are all arrested and brought to the mayors, whom they fail to convince about the seriousness of the situation. When the Ghostbusters mention they should inform the press, Hardemeyer has them committed in a psych ward on his own initiative. Meanwhile, after he asks Vigo for the permission to have Dana as his wife, Janos is sent as a flying nanny ghost to kidnap Oscar, bringing him back to the museum. Dana, who recognized him during the rapt, follows right after them, but as soon as she enters, a thick layer of slime starts to cover the museum, trapping her inside, helpless as Oscar lays on an altar in front of the painting, ready to be sacrificed the next night as Vigo's human vessel. The river of slime overflows and reaches the surface, turning Manhattan into pandemonium that night and the following. To weaken mood slime, a lot of positive energy is required, and a well-loved symbol could raise it more than anything else. Cut on Liberty Island, where they drench the inside of Lady Liberty with positive mood slime, then turn on happy music on loudspeakers, animating the statue which walks towards the museum under the joyous acclaim of all New Yorkers. To midnight, just as Vigo starts to possess Oscar's body, Lady Liberty strikes the museum's roof with her torch, allowing the Ghostbusters to climb down inside and hose Janos with positive mood slime, knocking him out. But even if the ritual was interrupted, Vigo is now alive, out of the painting and immensely powerful, easily incapacitating the Ghostbusters and Dana before seizing Oscar one more time. Fortunately, the voices of thousands of New Yorkers assembled around the museum, singing in unison, are gradually weakening the Slime River, depriving Vigo from his strength and sending him back to the painting, where he morphs into a demon-like creature, who nevertheless hypnotizes Ray and briefly possess him. After being doused over and over with positive mood slime and shot at with proton guns, Vigo finally disappears into the painting, then explodes, destroying at the same time the thick slime shell under the bewildered eyes of Louis, who, wearing Egon's jumpsuit and an extra proton pack, Dana and Peter kiss before the teen discovers that the painting doesn't show Vigo's towering figure anymore, a gorgeous early Renaissance representation of a baby, protected by four angels who look a lot like four paranormal exterminators from New York. Ghostbusters became a pop culture phenomenon, a hilarious adventure that combined scares and laughs. So the next time you want to remember a movie or show, remember who you're gonna call. Flicks and TV.